In the world of The Lord of the Rings, few figures evoke as much fear and mystery as the Witch-king of Angmar. Who was the Stark sorcerer before he became the most feared servant of Sauron? What were his triumphs, his defeats, and the legacy he left behind? Let's uncover the full story of Middle-earth's most infamous wraith. The Witch-king's origins are shrouded in mystery. What we do know is that he was once a mortal man, a king or sorcerer of great power and ambition. Likely of Númenórean descent, he came from a people known for their strength and longevity. Some theories suggest he may have been one of the Black Númenóreans, followers of Sauron during Númenor's decline, though Tolkien never reveals his true name or lineage. What we do know is that Sauron gave him one of the 9 rings of power. These rings granted their bearers wealth, influence, and unnaturally long life, but at a terrible cost, of course. Slowly, the rings corrupted their wearers, enslaving them to Sauron's will. The man who would become the Witch King faded from the physical world. His body became a shadow, his soul bound to darkness. By the year 2251 of the Second Age, he had fully succumbed to the ring and became a Nazgûl, a wraith and one of Sauron's most loyal servants. He quickly rose to lead the 9, commanding them with unparalleled cunning and power. During the War of the Last Alliance, the Witch King fought alongside Sauron against the combined armies of elves and men. This war ended with Sauron's defeat and the loss of the One Ring, and the Nazgûl, including the Witch King, faded into obscurity for over 1,000 years. Without the One Ring to anchor Sauron's will, the race could do little but linger in the shadows, awaiting their master's return. But in the Third Age, the Witch King rose again. Around the year 1300, he reappeared in the northern region of Middle-earth, founding the kingdom of Angmar. His purpose was clear: the destruction of Arnor, the northern kingdom of the Dunedain, descendants of Númenor's greatest kings. At his command, Angmar became a realm of fear and violence, populated by orcs, trolls, and corrupted men who served his dark will. Over the next centuries, he waged war on the fractured kingdoms of Arnor. By 1409, his forces had overrun much of the region, destroying the kingdom of Cardolan and taking control of Rudar through puppet rulers. He also desecrated the Barrow Downs, filling the ancient burial grounds with dark spirits known as Barrow-wights. Through fear and sorcery, the Witch King became the undisputed ruler of the North. Finally, in 1974, he dealt the final blow to Arnor, capturing the kingdom's last stronghold at Fornost. King Arvedui, the final king of Arnor, fled into the frozen wastes of Foretold, where he eventually perished. Arnor was no more. But the Witch King's victory was short-lived. In 1975, a coalition of elves from Lindon and Gondorian soldiers led by Prince Eärnur marched against him at the Battle of Fornost. The Witch King's army was utterly defeated, and he fled the battlefield after being confronted by the elf lord Glorfindel. It was here that Glorfindel made his famous prophecy: "Not by the hand of man will he fall." Following his defeat, the Witch King fled to Mordor, where he began rebuilding Sauron's forces. By the year 2000, he led the Nazgûl in an assault on Minas Ithil, a fortified city of Gondor. After a 2-year siege, Minas Ithil fell, and the Witch King transformed it into Minas Morgul, the Tower of Sorcery. From this dark stronghold, he extended Sauron's influence, building armies and corrupting the lands around him. In 2050, Gondor's last king, Eärnur, accepted a challenge to single combat issued by the Witch King. Eärnur rode to Minas Morgul and was never seen again. With the line of kings broken, Gondor fell under the rule of the stewards, weakening the realm further as the shadow of Mordor grew. For centuries, the Witch King oversaw Sauron's preparations for war. By the time Sauron openly declared himself in 2951, the Witch King had become Mordor's military commander, organizing its vast armies of orcs, trolls, and Easterlings. When Sauron learned that the One Ring had resurfaced, it was the Witch King who took the lead in the hunt. In 3018, after interrogating Gollum, Sauron learned that the ring was in the Shire. The Witch King led the Nazgûl into Eriador, scouring the countryside for the ring-bearer. Disguised as Black Riders, they spread fear across the land. At Weathertop, the Witch King confronted Frodo Baggins and his companions, stabbing Frodo with a Morgul blade. This wound was meant to corrupt Frodo and bind him to Sauron's will, but Frodo's resilience, combined with the healing powers of Elrond, thwarted this plan. Though the Witch King failed to capture the ring, he returned to Mordor and prepared for open war. In 3019, he led the assault on Minas Tirith during the War of the Ring. At the Battle of Pelennor Fields, he broke the city's gates with sorcery and personally struck down King Theoden of Rohan. But then came the fulfillment of Glorfindel's prophecy. Éowyn, a shield maiden of Rohan, and Merry Brandybuck, a hobbit of the Shire, confronted him. Merry struck him with a barrow blade, breaking the enchantments protecting him. Éowyn delivered the killing blow, slaying him and proving that no man would be his end. With the Witch King's death, the Nazgûl were weakened, and their final destruction came with the destruction of the One Ring. The Witch King's spirit was utterly annihilated, never to return. The Witch King's story is one of corruption, ambition, and ultimate defeat. He began as a mortal king, consumed by his desire for power, and ended as a cautionary tale about the dangers of greed and the resilience of hope. In the end, he was brought low, not by great armies or mighty kings, but by the courage of a hobbit and the defiance of a woman.